Did you have a game that you played a lot during the COVID times? Because for me, that would be Minecraft Bedwars, as in like the very specific game mode, Minecraft Bedwars. I put so many hours into it, and honestly, I'm going to be so rusty in this video, so my apologies in advance. But Minecraft Bedwars was a lot for me. It was everything for a while, in a sad way, and in a couple happy ways as well. So today I want to talk about like the story of me and playing Bed Wars and kind of everything around it, right? I want to be relatable here. I don't know if I can be. I haven't done commentary for such a long time, but let's put something out there, right? So for the 12 people listening, I got into Minecraft Bed Wars just kind of on a whim. Like I had a friend just kind of randomly suggest it. He's like, yeah, let's just play this. And I think my first ever time, like, really trying to stream and have, like, more than a viewer was playing Bed Wars. And I didn't really think of it much. I played it very casually. I played it very chill. And it was fine. Then COVID struck. This would have been, like, very early 2020. I think this is, like, even pre-COVID, potentially. But I watched this little guy called Purpled, who was my age, and he did these little Bed Wars commentary things, and he'd talk, he'd play the game. Funnily enough, my armor color right now is kind of similar to his character, but I thought, wow, I could do that, and this looks pretty fun as well. So I got into the game. I tried to get good at it. I tried a couple things. I did my first ever commentary, which was pretty crap. It's probably as bad as this one, but something sparked for me there, and I never really thought about it that deeply, like it's the past, it's just the way things have been, but just opening the game again and running around and trying to hide a diamond, it makes me think. So the reason that Bed Wars probably became such a big thing for me, it wasn't just COVID, it wasn't just because I was trying to do a YouTube thing about it was because that's where I met Sean. Now, if you're a fan of me, if you know me at all, you know that I'm a bit of a package deal with my friend Sean. He's been around for every single stream. He's been at least in my DMs for every single video, every commentary, every big one, every little one. He's always been there, right? And just probably a huge reason on why I actually kept up Bed Wars for so long. And I think that's one like really big factor for games as well, because like I want to make this about the COVID game thing, right? This isn't just about me. I'm not being a narcissist here. I just don't really have a real topic. But do you feel like you're ever forced to play a game just because you have connections through it, right? And the reason I'm mentioning this is just the other day I was playing Bed Wars. I was thinking to myself, yeah, wouldn't it be fun to use this as background footage? I'm still not horrible at the game. I can hold up some kind of interesting visual stimuli. And while I was playing, I had a friend add me, and he's like, hey, you want to play? And I'm like, whoa, I haven't heard from this guy in maybe 4 years, and he wants to play. And I felt so bad for a while, because I didn't even remember his name. I'm there sitting there just thinking to myself, I'm a horrible person. But we played, and I remembered his name, and it's great. But I feel like when I quit Bed Wars, and when I quit kind of everything, I kind of disconnected from a lot of people. Like, as my commentary story progressed, I got to know people. I can't name drop too many people, otherwise I'm going to reveal my old channel, and I really don't want to do that, just because I'm trying to avoid people. But I met some big names. I met Hannah Rose. I know there's drama there, but whatever. I met not Nico, who's now just, from like Nico and Cash, like that guy. I met the Minecraft Kids guy, and I sat in a Discord call with him, and, I met a lot of big people. I met a lot of up-and-comers. I was behind the scenes for a lot of the drama, and that's not why I'm hiding stuff right now. I am well and truly irrelevant. But I felt trapped with Bed Wars at one point, and it was like, that was all I could do. People aren't watching me for me. They want some random Bed Wars thing. And the truth is, I was probably very wrong. My little narcissistic self kind of had a thing for that. But before I felt all that, before I felt pigeonholed, there was this one glory point. And it's like that with every relationship in life. That there's a point where things are really good. There's a honeymoon phase, There's like a getting to know it phase, you know, me like learning the game and making these little videos about random things. That was great for me. But that wasn't my famous favorite spot. My favorite spot would have been streaming, because I used to stream a lot, like twice a week, 3 times a week. I have even had an era where I went daily, and it was amazing. I loved most of it. That's probably where things like kind of fell off for me. Like Hypixel as a whole kind of died. It's not like Hypixel as a whole kind of had is like kind of on a low since COVID, you know, finished and everything, and Twitch and all that. But one thing with Bed Wars is that it has transcended a lot of other relationships in my life. I know that a relationship with a video game isn't a real thing, and that's kind of weird for me to say. But around the time that one of my high school relationships ended, I felt like a lot was missing. I felt like a lot was going wrong. And, you know, I was 16, I was over dramatic, you know, whatever. But, you know, I still had Sean, I still had Bed Wars. Sorry, I just hit my mic. I still had Sean, I still had Bed Wars, I still had all these things that I enjoyed doing. So that's kind of how I fell into streaming, because it was a distraction, because I was able to do it instead of thinking about other stuff. I was able to do it instead of thinking about how isolated I was feeling at school and how lonely I was towards the end of high school because of all these things that happened to me socially. I'm not blaming anyone, and I'm not trying to take pity here, but things were crap for a while, in my opinion. And, you know, I had Bed Wars, I had my streaming, I had my videos. So I kind of fell into that. I don't want to say all in, but, you know, I fell straight into that. And it was a good time. You know, the viewers started going up on the streams. I was doing more interesting streams. The videos were still kind of doing the same, but I had 1 or 2 more pick up. And I thought I was on top of the world. I was going to be a streamer. I had all these viewers. You know, we would have like 10 viewers. And then that'd be like the average for a while. Then it was 20. Then it was 50. And then I did a Christmas stream where I was like, I think I was singing a Wilbur Soot song. Yes, I know, Mr. Controversy Man, who keeps bringing me views. I did like this goofy, dumb little stream. I was yelling at my chat, singing Wilbur Soot song, and there were like 1,000 people there. That's probably one of my glory moments, where I was like, yeah, those people are here for me. That's amazing. What a feeling. And then COVID didn't even end in like 2021. Like, we still had a lot of lockdowns and stuff. But just as quickly as things were going up for me, it all went away. That peak never happened again. And that 50, like 70 average dropped down to a 50, to a 40, to a 20, to a 10, to a I'm barely hitting 10. What's going on? What am I doing wrong? So I think for me at that point, that was when I kind of started falling out with Bed Wars, because it was no longer this really cool thing I got to do on stream. It just kind of became there. I would do the same stuff and I would be rewarded less. And for little, still 16-year-old me, that wasn't nice. That hurt. That genuinely hurt. But I stuck with it for like another year. I still played it. You know, we still had COVID. I still got to play with Sean. I still got to make my friends. I got to meet the famous people, and it was really cool. And then towards the end of high school, I think this is probably where it really ended for me. I started Ben's Brain, which is, you know, the beginning of the Ben cinematic universe that you're watching right now. And I did my daily streams. I started a new channel, and I went 0-1,000 and made like $500. And I thought, wow, you know what? I still have it. I still have that spark. I still have that energy. I still have whatever it is about me that makes me good as a creator. And I felt good about myself. And when uni started, I took a week off. You know, I wanted to settle into uni. I wanted to go to a party. I wanted to be a normal boy. You know, I had this fresh start. I'm not just in YouTube, but in real life. I could make new friends. I could avoid these people who made me feel so isolated. And when I came back, I had that same kind of feeling. That like, those viewers that I had were gone. Now this is like dumb, right? This is the most petty, crappy thing of now 17 to 18-year-old me. But I was like, damn, they're all gone again. As quickly as they showed up, they were gone. So I quit. And I thought, you know what, I'm gonna just be a real boy. I'm gonna go to uni. I'm gonna do my classes and study my computer thing. And I'm gonna go to parties and I'm gonna meet girls. And I did. Like, I did that. I'm not gonna go into too much detail of that. That's a different story time for next week's video. But I did all that, and I've done other channels. I've tried other genres. I've tried Valorant. I tried so many things. But for some reason, something always brings me back to Bedwars. And maybe it's just memories with Sean. Maybe it's because it's casual. It's easy to pick up. It's not like Valorant that makes me depressed if I don't play it for a week. That's another story. But but it's this whole like it's this whole thing that I just keep coming back to for whatever damn reason. So, on that note, because I always do my announcements at the end of my videos, and I just alluded at this 2 seconds ago, but I want to upload weekly again. I want to do a goofy little commentary where I talk about some random topic, and I want to sit here and I want to be here and be like, hi, me, and I'm just yapping, because I'm quite the yapper when you want me to. My voice is actually a little dead today, so don't worry, it does sound nicer. But yeah, what was your like? So yeah, what was your COVID game? Do you have some kind of relationship with a game or with people around gaming? Because I always felt like I didn't quite always fit in with some of the other guys in my classes, just because I didn't play what they wanted to play. You know, I was playing Team Fortress 2 while they were playing Battlefield. I was playing Minecraft while they were playing, you know, Call of Duty or Halo. Well, I mean, Halo's a bit before my time. But you get the point. I was never really playing the game that other people wanted to play. I was getting into Minecraft Bedwars when everybody else was playing League of Legends. And I thought, no. I would rather be a Minecraft degenerate Twitch streamer who plays this game all day, every day, during online class, than the guy who plays League. I think that lowly of League. And then I ended up playing Valorant for like 2 years. So, you know what? I'm not even that much better, to be completely honest. Maybe I'm just that bad. But hey, now one of the reasons I'd actually quit Bedwars, and I'm just recircling here, I'm a little... look, the ADHD allocations will never stop. But when it came to Bedwars, I'd always get a little angry. Because I got to this peak point in my skill, where I knew I was good at the game. You know, I'd be like... I'd have an above average final kill ratio. I'd have the ability to just destroy other players. And I was like, yeah, I'm good at this game. I'm at least competent at this game. But then I would always end up getting obliterated by complete new players. And I thought, why? Why could that be the case? And I'd watch my videos and I'd look at my replays and I'd talk about it with others. And it's literally because I'm Aussie. Me sitting here in Australia makes it bad for me. I get handicapped. Doesn't matter how good I get, somebody with an American ping is going to beat me. They're not going to take knockback, or I'll take too much, or they'll take too much, or something just won't work out. And it will mainly be because of a ping thing. And Hypixel used to be so unstable, especially with Skyblock, like when that was peaking. And like, my gosh, it was a very unstable server. And then the same with like Valorant. It was like every single day was a coin toss between whether I'd be happy or whether I'd be upset, whether I'd play well or whether I'd play badly. And obviously, like, I'm a little bit competitive. I want to see a win. I want to be told I'm good at the game. But no matter what I did, I just couldn't be that good at Bedwars. And then other than like the lag and the server and stuff, because you know that's like a one-off. That's an off day, right? Then there was also the anti-cheat. It would actively be working against me and my slightly higher latency, deleting my blocks, teleporting me around. It'd be screwing me up left, right, and center. While at the same time, there were people actively and obviously cheating in front of me. So the cheaters were getting rewarded. The cheaters were able to just continue faking their way through life. One of them's still on the leaderboards today, right? And then I wasn't able to be good. And that sucked, and that hurt. But that's why I quit. But it doesn't seem too bad now, so leave a comment and I'll maybe make a video about it where I talk for 10 to 20 minutes. Thanks for watching. I rambled way too much.